System 1 loaded.
The Gorecast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
What's up, Gorecasters, and welcome back here to the Gorecast with me, Johnny Deadly, and my homies in horror surrounding me. Got Giz to the left of me, Buzz to the right, and there's Carter down in the bottom right.
I'm stuck in again.
Computer had a bit of a weird restart, so many apologies for the slightly glitchy intro video. But look, judging by the chat, it's a lot of the regulars, so it's not one that you haven't seen before, so you know what's going on.
Yeah. Surprise!
It's the same intro. Yeah, so up on today's show, a new series came out on Netflix that myself and my missus got stuck into during the week called The History of History of Swear Words. Give me a minute, let me pull up the poster because I actually really liked the verbiage they used. One moment. I really liked it. An education in expletives. That was it. I couldn't remember the tagline. Hosted by Nicolas Cage, which I'm going to say we'll get more into it when we review the series in the middle. But goddamn, was he designed for this TV show? Nicolas Cage's wacky brand of over accentuating certain words really played into the full blown enjoyment of this show. Fuck. Sorry, had to be done. I can't do the Nicolas Cage eyes. I'm not able to make my eyes bulge out that much. But that's the general gist of it. He really goes to town on those swear words when he gets a chance to do it. But the whole idea for the episode was, because swear words, they're also called curse words. And I was like, okay, initially the plan was to find a movie that was about a curse, a movie that was just a horror movie just that was full of swear words. And upon delving into the depths of movies and trying to get word counts of expletives used within certain horror movies, none of them really ranked high enough to be like, which is odd, actually, isn't it?
It's amazing, but who would have thought that horror is actually highbrow?
I know, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like I will, like Rob Zombie was on the list, but we'd already done House of a Thousand Corpses, number one, and number two wasn't really high enough on the list for me to be. I think it's like 200 fucks or something. I mean, we dropped that in a podcast. Oh yeah, speaking of the 200 fucks in the podcast, I believe Buzz had put out a request to people. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but the plan was that because we tend to curse a lot and the show is essentially about curse words today, if someone could keep a fuck count or a general expletive count. If you feel like breaking it down into their certain subcategories, by all means, feel free.
How many fucks have each one of us fucking said over the course of the fucking show? Do you mean?
Yes.
How many times? Hold on. How many times? I'm trying to keep count, so you need to slow it down.
I won't lie to you. I cursed several times in the process of bringing into that intro that I literally was. This is why I was like, it's a really nice idea. I'm not 100% sure how well it's going to work out because sometimes, believe me,
you and I wouldn't actually keep track. We'd just be saying them like normal.
I'm just warning you because someone would want to have their. I would just be writing slashes down because once we get into the first movie,
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, once we get into the first movie that we're talking about, which is Gravedancers, I feel the counter's probably going to start just ticking on strong there.
Am I the only person that actually liked that film?
For what? We'll find.
Like as in a fine piece of cinematic, a fine piece of addition to the cinematic universe, kind of thing, or as in. A dirty kind of enjoyment that you should never discuss with others.
As in, I liked the film. It's far better than some other pieces of shite that I've had to sit through.
Okay, see, I'm kind of like on the fence with Johnny. It's like that dirty shit. Like I spread it around to everybody, so like we can all get fucking dirty.
No, as I've said, there's certain people I'll spread. As I said during the group chat last night, there's certain people I will spread it to. You being one of them because you appreciate hunks of shit in a weird way, like I do. As in, I had a weird enjoyment to this, but there's times where I have to put my weird enjoyment aside and try and look at it as just a movie. Do you know what I mean? And as just a movie, it's not good. But we'll get into that.
And like, I read that and I'm like, should I take offense to that? Because I feel like he just says I sit around and watch shit movies.
No, but you find yourself awake at stupid o'clock in the morning quite a lot, like I do.
So you also have come out and said that you watch shit movies. So
it's okay when I say it. I mean,
it's a lot harder when it comes from others.
Anyway, in the chat we got Pam. Hello. We got Sweet Rabbit. We got Katie McNeil. We got Bree. I saw up further if memory served me correctly. Ready, set, game.
Yeah, Bree.
Yeah, that's the bunch. Run, rabbit. Sorry, had to do it. It's traditional now. So
run, rabbit, run.
You know, it wasn't until I watched Get Out for our Sunday episode that I actually heard what that song sounds like. That run, rabbit, run, run. Here comes the farmer with his gun. I was like, Jesus, that's creepy.
Wouldn't want to be a rabbit.
Nice.
Yeah. Sounded like it.
It's very anti-rabbit.
Well, the rabbit wouldn't be able to understand the song.
Other movie on the list, because, so we have Gravedancers, which is a movie about some people who get cursed. And then we also have The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is about a possession, which in a weird way is a bit of a curse of itself. But also, there were some weird shenanigans that went on live on set. So essentially, it's a cursed set. It's just to warn you, because I went delving into it. I wouldn't be saying it's as cursed as, Poltergeist or anything like that. It's not. I won't lie to you. I was a little bit disappointed because I was like, okay, we'll get into the juicy curse that's going on. I was like, oh, that wasn't really that much.
Okay, see, I
still.
I didn't know it actually had even anything.
But it's cursed.
It is still the backstory for it is still kind of fascinating, though, what it's based on.
Yes, but is it a curse or is it a possession? Because judging by the name of the movie, I'd say it's possession.
Yeah. Hey, you were the one. I wasn't the one.
Not to ruin the movie for you,
because it's a good film. I wasn't the one that made the list.
Not to ruin the movie for you, in case you haven't seen it. But in the eyes of the court, it's very much a move on.
That fucking lawyer douchebag! I'm gonna tear him up.
He was great.
Look, as an actor, he was very good because you're not supposed to like that guy.
Yeah.
I liked him.
Of course
you did.
That came in stereo. That was worrying. Anyway,
I'll explain why when we get into it.
Okay, that's fine.
Of course.
Anyway, as is customary, before we get into all of the movies and things like that, myself and everyone have some news to this. By myself and everyone, I mean Giz. I know who the people are in the pictures, though, which is more than normal. So,
yeah, Tuesday is fun, and he's like, "All right, what picture for what news bit?" I'm like, I
girl
don't know.
with
And
blue face, skull face, whatever that crab thing is.
Yep, that's our pre-show meeting right there. What articles first? What pictures for it? I don't know. Girl with faces behind her.
It's just with the news bits. If I read them in advance, I have time to actually sit down and digest and formulate theories, and I think it's just more fun when I just get my opinions on the fly. Because sometimes my shock opinion, when I don't have time to sit down and work it out, is much better. Anyway, first story, from what I understand, it's got Nicolas Cage in it.
Oh yes, you're gonna love this one.
Go on.
You were going to love this one.
He looks like a superhero, and I'm already intrigued.
He's not a superhero. He's quite the opposite, actually. He is a hardened bank robber who has been sprung out of jail by the governor, who is played by Bill Motherfrackin' Mosley, because the governor's daughter has gone runabout. Now, firstly, let me just say, Cage himself.
Can you define runabout?
She's done a runner. She's gone off.
Okay. Like with a dude kind of thing, or she's just taking tacky?
Or she just ran off, fuck you, dad, fucked out.
To be clear, actually, she's missing.
Oh, okay, so it may not be runabout.
Okay, so we don't know.
It may be relocated.
So it could be a runoff, or it could be a
relocation, involuntary relocation, I believe is the professional term.
But I think what should be grabbing people's attention here is that Nicolas Cage himself has proclaimed that this is the wildest film he's ever been in.
Oh, okay.
I'm in. I've seen Mandy, so I'm in.
Sorry, I had to throw that.
Mandy was some crazy shit.
I didn't like it, but I did.
I didn't either.
But you did. That kind of thing.
Jesus fuck.
We're supposed to discuss the thing. Sorry, Giz is trying to read things. Let Giz finish the reading.
Giz isn't trying to read
turn your mouth off and turn your ears on.
Story. Unlike Buzz, Giz actually pays attention to stuff rather than a couple of notes that he forgets.
Hey!
Don't
be
listening to you trying to do the news sometimes, dude.
Don't be throwing.
Where did that come from?
Right now.
Ouch. Jesus.
The truth is a fucking punch in the dick.
Welcome to Truthful Thursdays, people. What the shit? Holy monkeys.
As I was saying, Nicolas Cage has claimed this to be the wildest film he's ever been in. However, director Sion Sono, who this is actually going to be his first English directorial debut, is looking at it kind of going, well, I don't know if it's the craziest. I mean, it's certainly got a lot of mad shit in it. There are, let me see now. There are samurais, there are ninjas, and there are ghosts.
I'm fucking in.
Yeah.
Wow.
It gets better. Because do you know the way you thought? Do you know the way you thought Nicolas Cage was looking like a superhero?
Yes.
Well, that is a leather suit that he's strapped into, which will self-destruct in 3 days if he doesn't find the missing.
Oh, right.
girl.
So it's also So it's not just involuntary relocation of the general's daughter. It's also involuntary relocation on the behalf of Nicolas Cage, because he now involuntarily has to relocate the daughter back to her original location that she was involuntarily relocated from.
Fuck that. So this is Escape from New York with ninjas.
Yep.
Well, the governor of Samurai Town, and that's what the place is called, has decided that this hardened bank robber is the perfect person to go out. You heard me. Is the perfect person to go out and find his missing granddaughter.
And so, you see, this is why I don't read.
No, we can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, idiots.
Oh my god! So Escape from New York with fucking ninjas.
Possibly,
wow.
Yeah.
I don't know about that shit, dude. I mean, I'm not trying to knock Nicolas Cage. He's done some crazy shit. Like Johnny said, I mean, Mandy was not fucking great. My God, that was like spotlight Nicolas Cage, dude. It was just like crazy Nicolas fucking Cage and Mandy.
I tell you, I saw the trailer for that Willy's Wonderland, the fucking the amusement park thing that he's going to be in, and he looks like that as well.
We talking about the Willy Wonka prequel thing?
No. There's a movie coming out. It's basically Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, except it's not Five Nights at Freddy's. It's called Willy's Wonderland, I think. Yeah. So the trailer for that is out, and he's in that, and he's basically this guy that gets duped into spending the night there, cleaning the place up, and then it turns out it's actually something far more sinister and dark and twisted.
Test.
That fucked me up for a second because I just tripped over a news bite that they were like going to do a pre-Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory kind of thing.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, is that what I'm getting?
I'm guessing.
That's
Willy Wonka and the purchase of some real estate.
Like I don't know.
Willy Wonka and the discovery of the Oompa Loompas.
Oompa Loompas.
Oh yeah,
I'm not quite sure where they're
I'd actually be down for that, to be honest.
The slave labor.
Didn't they kind of do that in the Johnny Depp one?
You don't. Yeah, it's like a bit of a flashback. Like I wouldn't call it a full blown Oompa Loompa fest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. What's up next?
We're almost breaking 30 cuss words already.
That was just.
I was just about to say, Prisoners of Ghostlands has been acquired by RLJE Films. No news on a release date yet, but I imagine that since it's in production or maybe post-production, we'll be hearing more about it at some point.
I won't lie to you. You had me at Nicolas Cage, leather suit, Samurai Town.
Right. Like I said, I just wish there was like a Chinese word there somewhere for like a whole fucking Cage weird bingo thing, man.
I liked your description of it as Escape from New York, but with Nicolas Cage. I also feel there's a bit of a taking on acid vibe going to be happening. Or taking acid, one or the other. I'm down.
Maybe dip your brain in acid before watching the film.
Oh, I fucking will.
Like Nicolas Cage always kind of brings that weird acid trip to like any role. Like,
yeah, but that's it. I love me some Nicky C. I won't lie about it, but that's part of the reason some of his movies has been whack shit. It's because he used to bring the crazy specifically to movies that warranted the crazy. Then he got famous for doing the crazy, and then he just went crazy.
Oh, dude, like I still remember his like first transformation from Ghost Rider, and just like his cackle weird thing, like that fucked me up.
That was a movie.
Oh God, yes, it was. It makes my brain hurt.
Right, next.
I love the fact that they insulted it in the comics. That was great. Anyway, next story.
Story, please. Yes. Next story.
Next. Okay, so next up we have
fucking screen.
Darren Aronofsky and Jared Leto are trying to team up again for a film called Adrift, which was written by the creator of The Ring, Koji Suzuki. The story is set in the dead calm of the open sea, where a fishing boat discovers an abandoned yacht with a strange distress call. The deckhand agrees to take lone control of it while it's towed into port, but soon he discovers why the rest of his more experienced crew members call it a ghost ship.
Because it's a ghost ship.
I love how you can tell where Carter's sits. All you hear is fucking like you can tell where he's going at with a movie.
I was on the fence. I was on the fence until the shit bio. I won't lie to you. He soon realizes why the more experienced crew members call it a ghost ship, because it's a fucking ghost ship, obviously.
Like, I didn't know this was one of our news bits because I just didn't pay attention today. I tripped over this one earlier, and I was like, all right.
It's not just me who doesn't pay attention.
Face Off was pretty sweet. You're totally right, Rabbit.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'd just like to see what kind of a ghost ship story Koji Suzuki is going.
I'm down.
Because, I mean, he created The Ring, and The Ring was so...
Yeah, you're right.
I just wasn't impressed.
Okay, because it sounds.
I was taking the piss out of the bio because it was just.
Oh.
No, I was just saying you're right. Like, I would like to see what he could bring to the table. Just unfortunately, the description is just not really like.
Guy goes out and
Making
finds
it
a ghost
stand out
ship. He gets on the ghost
Well,
ship. The more experienced of the members of the ship told him it's a ghost ship. Hey, guess what? It's a ghost ship. That's essentially the
You know
bio.
what? I'd rather that than an in-depth, detailed report on the film, so that there's no surprises and you like. There's nothing new about
No,
it.
I
Anyway,
don't
it turns-
want that either. But you can write a very overall storytelling without giving away plot synopsis.
Right.
You can.
You can tell that to the guys making movie trailers these days.
Bitches stuck on
anyway.
boats. Bad shit
I have
happens.
done on every
Wait and
podcast
see.
where some asshole
No.
fucking gives me a trailer where it's like, well, that's the ending of the movie. Obviously, cheers, fuckface.
The screen adaptation of this is going to be written by Aronofsky and Luke Dawson, and apparently Jason Blum is producing the film for Blumhouse Productions.
course
I'm
he
not
is.
sure. They were
That's
still
what I kind of got lost with it.
I don't
not gonna
I don't
lie,
know if
when I
we're
saw
even
the-
allowed to mention their
so-
name since the whole C bomb incident.
When I found out in the article that BH was going to be involved in it, that's kind of where I lost drive.
Who? Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I get you. I'm not. Don't worry, BH. I'm not going to call you another bunch of whatever that thing I called you was. Brain dead something.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Bret
No.
Hart. God damn it. Okay.
He's
we're
the
good.
excellence of execution, and I won't
See,
hear anything else about it.
Go there, but BH is on the table. I didn't know what to do.
I know we were on code word terms with them now.
Well, there
I
was
know.
after that little incident. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
that
I won't
I
lie
didn't
to you.
wanna, like, be-
Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but all three of us, when it happened, went, that was oddly timed. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying.
And I didn't want to be the asshole tonight that got us fucking shut down.
No,
so I was
if
like,
if
hey,
anything's
when
been proven, that will 100% and wholeheartedly and solo always be me. No, you'll make the stream crash. I get us shut down. They're two different things.
I don't know, man. Like Katie said, Face
Good
Off.
list of enemies.
Face Off was phenomenal. To be honest, I didn't love it. Dude, that's one of my favorite Nicolas Cage, John Travolta films. I thought when they switched, it was
Face Off is so good.
fuck off.
When I read that comment, I thought she said "fuck off," and I was like, "What movie is she talking?"
Insert crazy eyes. That's like one of the most famous Nicolas Cage crazy eye
Because
moments.
"fuck off" does sound like something that Nicolas Cage would be in. So.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Buzz. I
Fuck
actually
off?
was. I was like, "Are you sure he's not in a film called Fuck Off?"
Yeah, I just kind of it's down here, so I caught it at the corner of my eye, and I'm like, "Fuck off!" I don't think I've seen that one. No surprise, because I don't see movies. So I was like, I didn't really put two like.
I love how you didn't even bat an eyelid at the possibility that that is a film.
Sorry,
that is
hang
in.
on. You,
You
you
know?
mentioned you not seeing movies before. Have you not seen Face Off?
I have not seen Face Off.
Jesus Christ.
you?
He takes his face.
Oh,
He literally takes his
Dude.
face off.
I
sorry.
would-
Katie said she did love it. It got cut in the chat, so I like misread it. She said she
Yeah,
did love
just to
it.
clarify,
Dude,
it's not like some
Katie.
sort of secret agent euphemism for face off. It's he literally takes his face off. It's great.
I'll add it to the list that I have. A big list
Nicolas
of.
Cage Switch Places was phenomenal,
We
dude.
should-
I know the
We
premise.
should
of the
figure out a
movie.
way of getting face off into. We could do a Nicolas Cage night.
Oh,
We could try Mandy. We could try
Okay.
Mandy again, just without Giz having a fucking raging hangover when he's watching it.
And we'll just call the evening "fuck off." And
fuck. There was another one he did. What was it? Parents. It was something like all
Raising
the parents.
Arizona.
No. It was something where all the parents went fucking crazy.
ooh, yeah, I've
we
heard
have
of
to put,
it.
we have
It's
to put the
called
terrible
Parents.
Wicker Man on there as well, just so we can laugh at the B scene. I love it. The bees, the bees, the bees. Anything but the bees. Next
Anyway.
news bit. Yep, next news bit.
Next news bit.
Players. It's Tom Green.
Hey,
Hey, Daddy, would you like
It
some
is.
sausage?
so
Daddy, would you like some sausages?
Daddy, would you like some sausages?
Don't worry, Daddy, I'm looking for treasure. I found the treasure, Daddy. Giz is having a fucking... looks like he's having a nightmare happen in front of him. What's going on?
Anyway, that's exactly what I was wondering, to tell you the truth. So anyway, Tom Green is going to be appearing in a film from director Thomas Smogala, called
Schmeegler.
Interviewing Monsters and Bigfoot, which is set to be making its DVD debut and retail release on April
give me the
20th,
title again there?
2021. Now, as I already... Interviewing
Cool.
Monsters
Thanks,
and
you
Bigfoot.
glitched for a second. I don't know if it was on stream or just on. Well, actually, if it happened on Skype, it happened on stream. So. Okay.
Right. The synopsis is, by the book forest ranger Billy Teal, who is played by Tom Green, is dead set on preventing Corey Mathis, played by Lee Stroud, from finding the truth about the Mark Twain forest. Mathis, a professor, claims Bigfoot killed his wife, turning him into a man obsessed with revenge. Mathis partners up with a team of misfits for the capture of the creature, but Ranger Teal, a covert government agency, and a serial hoaxer, played by Rick Dyer, have other plans. The film is apparently written and directed by Thomas Smogala and starring comedian, actor, filmmaker, and talk show host of the Tom Green podcast, Tom Green. It's also got... Oh, I've already read out all those names.
Congratulations.
Right, sorry.
The only two.
Yeah.
The only two people that are attached to the film.
No, there's Rick Dyers, Lee Stroud, Tom Green, Jesse Combs.
I didn't even know
Tara
Tom Green was
Eclair.
so
He's got a
fucking
podcast and it's
Tara
hilarious.
Eckrell.
Yeah, well,
He likes to put his bum on things.
right.
Yeah,
don't know if he does
podcast,
that anymore.
podcast is
I kind of figured that would have finally bit him in the ass
podcast is
at
a
some
different
point.
beast now. To be honest, than what
Like to put my
like I wouldn't
bum
call
on
it a serious
things.
podcast, but
It's fun
Dude, I just
for
couldn't do.
everyone.
I couldn't do like young Tom Green. He's got on my fucking nerves.
I saw him live and he's stand up.
Think
I quite
that's
enjoyed
what
the
it's
stand-up
supposed
show.
to do. I don't know. I was young enough to where like the Tom Green show on MTV was like the hip thing, and
Right.
I
I'm
enjoyed it
sucking
a
off a
bit,
cow.
but then
I'm
it was
sucking
like
off a
okay.
cow.
See, and I just
Hey,
oh god.
Look, the weird thing is, everyone like went so crazy when he did that, and it's like he's probably not the first guy to have just sucked some milk clean out of a cow tit. Like we're from Ireland. We're from Ireland. Like someone,
Oh
like,
no.
people have definitely done that over here.
Yeah, or goats.
Well, whatever gives milk. Like those big cows with the horns.
Okay, so two
Down
things.
for the
One,
rat's milk.
Katie, also following Giz, The Wicker Man is my next metal show request.
Ah, Maiden. Nice.
And I finally tripped over which Nicolas Cage movie I was thinking of. It was called Mom and Dad 2017.
Where? Wait. There's a weird thing, and
parents
parents
just
go
go like
crazy and
that
try
shit.
to murder all their kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you've got like them trapped in the basement, and he just goes like the most mental fucking Nicolas Cage.
Well, it's
but
your
fitting.
choice, kids, and we'll leave it up to the people in the chat as well, and we'll have an accumulated workout by the end of the show. But if you're for the Nicolas Cage night, you would rather, what's the name of it, parents? If you would rather
Mom and
Mom and
Dad.
Dad face off Mandy
He was in the
or
Mandy.
Mandy Wickerman face off, let us know. It'd be the easiest way of doing it. I'm not opposed to Mom and Dad because I actually haven't seen Mom and Dad. I don't think. I've heard of it.
I said I thought that was fucked up and good on as far as like seeing a Nicolas Cage kind of
Now, this is
moment.
difficult keeping track of all these swear words, guys.
Sadly,
Have we been swearing?
sadly, we're not even cursing any more than we customarily would, to be blatantly honest. So
I didn't even notice.
I'm
if we were or not.
almost at 55 swear words already,
uh,
and now 54.
Oh,
How'd that
hey,
number go down?
For, hey,
I
Giz,
said
you were at
almost
55.
55. I said almost 55.
she's asking
Swear one
for-
more time and we'll get there.
Giz, Katie was asking for your time will come from the Wicker Man by Iron Maiden.
yeah, he said that.
Ah.
Yeah, he went nice,
Yeah.
Maiden.
Oh,
I'm full sure I
sorry,
heard
I
that.
was googling.
Anyway, that's the news bit's done. Tom
Yeah.
Green's in a horror movie, kind of. Is it a horror comedy?
Horror comedy.
Will he put his bum on things? That is where the question lies.
Kind of.
My bum is on the foot.
Yeah.
My bum is on the foot. Not a normal foot, but a really big foot. Boom, bum, 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 bum.
Oh, yeah.
Bum is on the dish.
Fresh life into.
My bum is on the fence. My bum is on the fence. Good old
Oh, boy.
Tommy G, huh?
All right, so we got our first vote from Sweet Rabbit. She votes for Face Off, Mom and Dad, and Wicker Man.
No, Mandy.
No, Mandy.
Oh.
No, Mandy. Like ... No, Mandy.
Had a bad time trying to watch it.
The only reason I want Mandy is because I really, myself and Giz didn't give it the fairest of chances in the initial thing. If memory served me correctly, Giz was ragingly hungover because he was just back from a wedding and had to watch it, and the words he gave me were couldn't finish, had a migraine. And that was pretty much how it was worded, because English sentence, not him do good. If memory served me correctly. Did we
I'll make sure I put
review
that
it?
back
I
in my
can't even remember,
holster
did
when
we
I
actually
can't watch
review it?
something.
I think we just dropped the show because you were dead.
To be fair, I had drunk an awful lot of
Oh, I'm
poaching
not
the
giving
night
out.
before.
I'm just saying, like, am I right? That was the only reason I was saying Mandy.
Yeah, because that was the night that I slept in the. That was the night that I slept in my jacks because the floor was nice and cold.
Okay, so I don't think we actually reviewed it. I think we were supposed to, and it didn't happen. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
I hadn't
just
even thought of
put
taking
Wicker
Mandy off
Man.
the cards. Okay, so just make your accumulation of the Nicolas Cage movies out of that list there, whatever way you feel like, and that's what we'll do next Thursday. That's next Thursday show already planned. We'll have a Nick Cage night.
Okay, so far we've got
If
two
anything
votes for
goes
that.
crazy, I will physically come over to people's houses and take their faces off.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, first movie up we have
I'll put
from
my ball on things.
2006 is called Gravedancers, which, oh yeah, I should probably have the little video playing. You're not the...
I wondered what order we could
Are
do
you-
shit
wait.
in.
Oh, I know what's going on.
This is my interpretation of Gravedancers.
It's a good interpretation. It's a good interpretation. But
Thank you.
yeah, tells the story of a bunch of people who go to a friend's funeral. It's still Gravedancers, actually. Sorry. They go to a friend's funeral, and after the funeral, Dominic Purcell's in it, who's from Blade Trinity and Legends of Tomorrow and Prison Break. Yeah. Not his
And a steroid commercial.
finest example of acting. Just going to throw that out there before we move in. But anyway, moving along. Himself and his missus and some of their friends are all at a funeral of a friend of theirs that died. After the funeral, they meet up with another friend who kind of just showed up for the afters, shall we say.
Reception.
He said
Not
reception,
reception,
but I
but-
don't think reception is the right
Pretty
word. I think
much.
it's like,
That's more of like a wedding. But yeah.
It's a wake.
yeah, the wake.
There
yeah,
we
yeah.
go. Wait.
So they all head up to a graveyard after the wake, and they are getting langers in the graveyard. They find a little card. They read the little card, and it's got a nice kind of little kind of funerally poem for purposes of the conversation at the moment on it. They all drink away, dancing on graves and reading this poem out.
Read that shit
Well,
out now.
that poem, there is more to that poem than meets the eye.
Terrible
Bad
idea.
poem, more to poem than meets the eye.
Yep.
Bad
Yeah,
pun.
I know. Well, fuck you.
No, I fully support that pun.
You work a pun like you work one in. You work a Transformers pun into a movie about a fucking graveyard curse. Let me know how you get on. There we go. Right.
Transformed into something bad.
Well,
Now
at
we
the
can
end of
play
the day,
trailer.
they found out that bad things were going to happen to them until all were one with the grave
Yes.
again.
So essentially, it turns out that dancing on graves is not a good idea. People get up and out of the. People are up in the. Sorry, was that a Transformers pun? Oh, okay.
It was, yeah.
I only figured that out by the look of disgust on your face. Yeah, I could come.
I know you started going and then you stopped. Like, wait a second. Oh,
It was just I was going, and then he just kind of threw this look of that was Well, I
Who
won't
said
lie
I
to
dare
you.
you to do it? Like,
I
that's not my fault
feel
that
as
you got it.
adjudications go, we may have figured out who came up with the worst Transformers pun, because that literally went over everyone's heads.
No. It was the best because clearly, no. Although, how the guy in the Decepticon t-shirt didn't get it, I'm like, what the hell, man?
I did. I just thought he was like being a dick and was like, I'm not going to acknowledge this. So I'm like,
Oh, okay.
Oh, no,
he
I didn't get it.
That was the point.
I'm a guy who I
I
like
get it,
Transformers.
I don't
I'm not
care.
like I'm not as up on the comics and lore as Giz would be. Put it that way.
Oh,
I was just like, okay, well, I won't be the asshole to bring it up if he's like, all right, cool.
this song just was like, wait,
Anyway,
that was.
yeah. Anyway, they're all dancing in graves and getting drunk, and dancing in graves and getting drunk, and there's other things that lead to it, but it'll get you haunted as fuck, basically. And
Like,
that's essentially the plot of Gravedancers. They have to go on a big mad trip to try and figure out how to get unhaunted. That obviously doesn't go as one would have planned, and some things happen. There's a
Well, they
couple of
also find out-
explosions. There's a massive hand, and it all kind of just fizzles on out to a tedious inevitability. Gravedancers.
but they also find out that they're on the clock, though. They have X
Yeah.
amount of.
That's the
Time
way these
resolve.
things normally go.
As possibly the only guy that actually liked this film and was impressed by the fact that I liked it even after not being able to remember it since the first time I watched it. That first time I was very, very drunk and wasn't 100% certain. I actually liked the fact that this was not a slow-ass fucking film. We weren't waiting around all day for stuff to happen. There was
Were we
story
not?
progression. We got a good explanation of what was going on, and we even had a good explanation of why, like, Riff to try and, or how they ended up finding out all this information as to try and get rid of it.
myself,
No means do I get.
as myself and the lads were saying earlier when we were talking about the movie, I actually really liked the story of this movie. It's just the acting, the
love the
soundtrack,
idea.
the video, the editing, and the general overall execution of the project in general really didn't do the story justice, in my opinion.
I mean,
You know what? It's not Paranormal Activity, so I'll take it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
thank you. I fucking hate that franchise.
Because at the end of the day, I thought that this actually did tension building well. When it did a jump scare, it was well, if it was there at all. Because a lot of it was the kind of slow, subtle, creepy stuff that I enjoyed to see. I like how they use little fucking things like, okay, yeah, it's a bit obvious. He's walking around the house while the piano's playing. It's going to stop as soon as he gets in there. But then we have individual explanations for the entities coming after them. The reason, their motivations, even when they go to the graveyard and they start looking up and you finally get the tombstone, it just says, good riddance.
It's not the different reasons. They're all after them for the one reason. It's the backstories.
They each have their own modus operandi.
Because one of my favorites is like when the kid, we see like his little fire footsteps through
That's
the
great.
fucking kitchen. I love that shit.
That's actually the one thing that I could remember from my drunken haze of watching that film the first
But
time
that's
around.
kind of, like, in fairness,
I
that's
fucking love
kind of the best thing about the movie, though. Is the fucking, like,
Honestly,
the special effects are really well done, and I feel for the most part looked actually practical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
massive
did,
hand,
didn't
massive
be
hand
honest, this is
aside,
one-
and massive head. Obviously, I won't mention where they come up in.
I'll be honest. The effects at the end of the film are my only down point for it. Because I'm looking at it going, we had all this good looking kind of practical stuff. And then all of a sudden it goes like this. And it's kind of like, okay.
That really
all
lost
right,
me.
fine, I'll
Although
take it.
I don't know, like, if you look at, right, if you kind of look at the quality of the video itself, do you know, not just the
very
no,
Ghostbusters.
hang on. If you look at the actual quality of the video itself, not as in like the editing, but the actual video image quality, it doesn't look like it's the highest budget movie. So I don't know how. I do agree with you all that CGI shit near the end kind of really does take away from what was quite like the practical effects. I had no issue with in this movie whatsoever, and even this, like the CGI fire steps and everything. It was one thing I would have given credit to, that I was like, fucking hell, you managed to stick some very nice looking monsters in there. It's just, it was the acting, man, really let it down. Like, everyone was so
like the acting
flat as fuck.
Which is weird because, like, Dominic has such a long history of really good acting. I mean, like Legends, fucking Prison Break. This one really does not Oh, hey, Brian's in the
What's
chat
up, Murph?
with us.
How are you,
Morning,
boss?
man. This one not really showcase anybody as far as like acting goes, and I think even Johnny pointed it out. Vincent, who is the guy that tries to help everybody get rid of their ghosts and shit, is a Frenchman that's trying to like act like he's
He's a
What was it?
genuine French guy
Frenchman?
who, to the best of my knowledge, sounded like he was doing a really bad fake French accent. But I know for a fact that the actors.
Honestly, I thought he sounded the same way he did in every other film I've ever seen him in.
No,
no, dude.
no.
Like I didn't.
No.
think
Although I won't lie to you,
Like he has one of those voices that I've
but
heard in a few
I
different
won't lie to
things.
you, right? And this has been has been said about Irish people in some of the movies, that even when they get an Irish actor who's supposed to be playing an Irish person with an Irish accent, they'll be like, "Can you kind of Irish it up a little bit more?"
It's because we're so used
Oh,
to
sure.
hearing,
How's it going there now,
it's
boys?
actually because we're so
Sons of Anarchy season 3. Diddly idle, deedle idle, deedle idle do. Sure, we're over in fucking Northern Ireland now, and we're all fucking driving motorcycles. Isn't it fucking grand? That?
not
It
a
is
drop
true.
of fucking
Yeah,
rain.
not a drop of. Yeah.
And-
You got
and
the
it-
Irish accent. Perfect, but not a drop of rain in the land known for being the wettest fucking place on the planet next to the fucking rainforest.
I might as well have fucking water skis on the bikes that I drive half the time.
And it's true. Like for whatever reason, a lot of films try to like amp up whatever your like.
You don't sound
nationality
French
is,
enough.
which I
Well, I'm
don't
fucking
get.
French. This is how we sound.
Right. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I really dug the idea behind the story. It was really good. I thought, excuse me, I liked how everything like slowly progressed. Yeah, like friends, we didn't really see any of the actual like poltergeists, but as they said, like the closer to the countdown that we got, all of a sudden you've seen like physical representations, because the closer to we got, the stronger they got. And all of a sudden we started getting these fucking backstories, and you find out, fuck, that guy's bad. Like we see why we put that motherfucker like way over here. Like we don't even want his evil in our fucking cemetery. Like, and so like I said, there's so many things about it that I dug. But yeah, when it comes down to it, for whatever reason, maybe it's the material they were given, but everybody just really just not do the best job when it comes to acting.
My favorite part was when the piano ghost lady channeled her powers of Thor and like just stuck her hand out, and her axe just like flies from outside and just lands in her hand like Mjolnir. That was awesome. And by that I mean very sarcastic. That was fucking stupid.
You know what I find hilarious? The fact that like this film has actually, like, when it was released for film festivals, everyone thought it was
Okay,
awesome.
as I said,
That
I like
scene of
the
the
story.
movie.
I like the ghosts. the acting really
That
sucked ass.
attracts me
The
fucking much.
Impossible people are stupid.
It was chosen as one of the 8 films to die for in 2006 by the After Dark Horror Fest.
Cool.
Maybe
Which is-
because it was that bad. You wish it were dead.
I just thought the acting.
Honestly, I thought compared to an awful lot of crap that floats around like fucking Sinister and all these color by number jump scare bollocks,
Oh, yeah.
it was refreshing to see a story that moved at a decent pace, that actually let you believe to a certain degree that, you know,
Yeah.
this stuff could happen, and that you weren't waiting around for the most predictable jump scares in the history of
True.
predictable jump
but the
scares.
acting still
And
sucked nuts.
But I think one of the things,
And when you're watching a movie full
What
of
I think I
actors,
didn't think it is-
acting's quite a crucial component of it.
and not
I
gonna
At,
lie,
honestly
at one,
didn't-
at
I
one
honestly
stage,
don't
Dominic's
find anything wrong with their
Dominic's
acting.
character was fucking. What's the
Oh.
name of the girl that's getting haunted? Not his missus. Nikki, is it? Kira. Thank
Kira.
you. Sorry.
here,
She
Kira.
at one stage he's running around the house near the end of the movie looking for her, and I'm assuming one would assume in script it's supposed to be an escalating level of tension going on in his voice, but all you hear is Kira, 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 Kira,
okay, for me,
and the
like
friend,
I thought
the
wife
friend
was probably
is
worse.
fucking he can't act, and he's annoying as fuck. If I saw him do the read between the line things one more time, I'd break his fucking fingers off, to be blatantly honest.
Oh yeah, where he's like, oh, it's your fault that I danced on the grave and did this, got drunk, and like, no, you're the
Yeah,
fucking
you
one
need
that
to
caused all
watch
that,
the
you
beginning of the movie back,
ass
Bucko, because it
master.
was definitely your fault, 100%. The only reason they're in the fucking
Yeah.
graveyard because of your stupid
Oh,
ass.
and then another thing that I was thinking about, that scene where the chick, the wife, I don't know names, big surprise. The wife
wife's name
found
is
out
Alison.
that the girl, the friend, and made out with her husband on the grave, and they're just like, "I want to talk to you right now. Let's go, young lady." Kind of the whole thing, and then she takes her out to the hallway and they're like, "Can I smoke a cigarette?" I was like, "What the hell's going on here?"
She just
She's
she didn't.
past the
She
point.
just went, "Can we talk?" There wasn't any like fucking get out
Or,
here,
well,
bitch.
whatever. I put some
Yeah.
little, this in it because
I did.
Right.
that's
but
what
like, okay,
that's what I expected. But she was all just like, "Can we talk?"
okay, but she's been right, but she showed from the very beginning that she was a very closed off individual.
Yeah, and she also, I won't lie to you, it's
like,
not.
she always pulled you to the
It's not
side,
the most uncommon.
but she was also like a
I didn't have an issue with that bit, to be blatantly honest. I was like,
It's not
I-
realistic. That's all I'm
it's
saying.
quite. People talk in other countries, man. I know over in America, people just fucking rip the fucking head off each other.
No, and that's not what I meant. I meant when she gets that dropped on her, I would expect
Yeah,
more
but like
of,
in
you
fairness,
know,
she's not surprised. Like she's literally been asking him the entire
Exactly.
fucking movie.
she's been right, like
I
she's
just
been
liked how
calling it.
I just liked how the cute nerd girl Culpepper is just sitting there, kind of like better than pro wrestling.
Right. Oh,
It wasn't.
fuck yeah,
that
dude.
was the thing. The two
No, I
lads ended
think
up
my-
fucking the head off each other instead of the two girls, and I was just like, well, that came out of fucking.
And she was still there, better than pro wrestling.
I think that was kind of my pop off. It was like, hey, we've got bigger fish to fry, but you have no issue going, oh, well, if you two hadn't been fucking on the grave, bro, really? Now?
There's a big difference between
Yeah,
kissing
and
and
evidently
fucking.
there's a big difference between kissing and making out.
My bad.
Evidently they just kissed.
Yeah, kissing is making out in America.
No, evidently it's not. Evidently
They
it's not.
made out. They
Because he said, because at one stage he said, "You're the one that was making out with her on a gravestone." He was like, "I wasn't making out. We kissed." So there's evidently a discernible difference. Either way, he should have been in trouble. Although you see the thing,
Maybe the difference between shifting the face off each
well,
other and just
like,
having
you
a
see,
kiss.
you have to take into context. You have to take into
Face off.
context. It's not like she just went out and just asked her for a smoke. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the question was, she was like, because essentially her fella and this girl Kira have been dating years ago. Do you know what I mean? They have history, and she wanted to know, did he still love her, or did she still love him, kind of thing. So I don't think it's the most.
Because it was like a, hey, you got home late. What did you and her do? Well, the three of us went out for drinks after
I
the
think we
funeral.
froze up.
Uh-huh. So what'd you two do? Babe, the three of us
I think
went
we
out for
froze up.
drinks. And then all of a sudden we get that fucking like, oh, well,
No
you
one's
two were
listening.
doing that. I fucking knew it.
We're froze up. There we go. We're back.
for the third
Yeah.
time.
It was actually the fifth time. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was saying that the conversation, because it had froze up from there. I was saying before we froze up that the conversation between the two of them was essentially trying to establish, did Dominic Purcell's character still have the hots for Kira, or was it just a kind of
Kira.
Kira?
Kira.
Yeah.
Or was it just kind of a little kissy kind of thing? And then Carter was saying, what were you saying? I can't remember.
Oh. I was saying that, he came home late and she's like, so what did you two do? And he was like, the three of us went out for drinks after the funeral. Right. So what did you two do? Well, babe, the three of us went out for fucking drinks. And then when shit goes down and the friend's like, and if it wasn't for you two making out at the fucking grave, and his wife's like, I fucking knew it. Like,
So-
she just... So...
Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off because you're doing your tirade for the second time because of
Right.
Um,
But I
Katie, I'm sorry, Sweet Rabbit says, "I kiss my kids and my grandma. I make out with my boyfriend."
You do see them kiss in the
That's
film.
two
I wouldn't have
differences.
called it making out, but I wouldn't have called it kissing your grandmother either. Do you know what I mean?
As I said, the
Right.
difference between kissing someone
Yeah.
and shifting the face
There
off.
was no hands on tits, if you
Right.
know what I mean.
So doing the Nicolas Cage.
There was no
Yeah.
tongues down throats.
The
properly.
problem came down because the wife was upset with the husband, but the friend was also upset with the husband because he had feelings with the chick. So that was like more emotion kind of driven. Y'all are just fucking making out, aren't you?
I'm not.
kissed once. Now,
Like you're
okay.
entitled to your opinions, obviously, on the movie. But out of all of the issues I had with the movie, that section is probably one of the least things that would have come up on my radar. To be blatantly honest,
No,
Just
I gotta say though,
gotta give
like,
it.
I will admit that it was
I gotta
slightly
say, though,
dead
I
of
like
emotion.
how-
The conversation that I was kind of like, I would have expected like a little bit more. Yeah,
That's more what
even
I
a
was
hand
saying.
on
I
a
was
hip
trying
kind
to
of. So does he still love
entertain
you? Or,
people. I'm
Sometimes
so
you get
sorry.
Sometimes you get to the stage where you're just like,
Yeah.
fuck it, I don't care anymore. There's
Right.
bigger shit
I
to deal
suppose
with. This
if
is
you
a
have
minor issue
15-foot
comparatively. Let's
ghosts
just patch it up.
chasing you
Make
all
sure
over the
what
place,
the fuck
your
it-
boyfriend maybe kind of kissing a girl is not the
Thank
biggest
you.
priority on your list.
But you know what? Like, I think that's kind of why the wife's like, "Hey, could I talk to you real quick in case you fucking die?" You know. No, I think like I liked it because you still had the three people in like
Wow.
dealing with whatever their ghost curse was.
Although I would
then you
have
had
loved
the,
I would have loved a
what's the
director's
boy's
cut where like they have a full blown fight argument and he just does a full. He just
That's
gets
what I
sick of
was
it and he does
expecting,
like,
but
oh,
that's
I've got
like why I
it. He gets sick of it and he does a full blown Will Smith from Men in Black 1 and just walks out to the big fucking ghost head and is just like, eat me, eat me. That would have been great. I am done.
But I like that
You
we
got 99
unfolded the
problems.
fact that Vincent also has his own kind of fucking
Yeah.
drive. He's like, "Holy shit, I've struck gold. There's some haunted motherfuckers. I'm getting this shit on tape." And he just kind of like puts them out, like he hangs them out there.
But
to,
it's
like,
more the chick
for his
hanging them
own
out than
good.
the.
So it's not just the three
It's
characters.
it's Bell Potter,
she's-
Bell Pepper,
It's
or
the
whatever her name is.
assistant that does all that bullshit.
Yeah, it's the cute
Yeah.
nerd girl that hangs them out to dry.
I'm
He's
I say
sorry.
he's actually like a
he's
straight
paranormal
up like
scientist, and he's looking for real. He'll pay for people to show him real examples of haunted areas that he can research. They find the ghosts, but they never got any of the ghosts on film because by the time they figured out what was going on, it was a bit too much of a hectic schedule of people nearly getting murdered. So video cameras weren't brought, and then bell pepper, cold pepper. I was close.
Culpepper.
Hot nerd
Yeah.
girl,
Well,
Frances
she has
Culpepper.
the great idea
Francis.
that
There we go.
I can't really get into that without actually getting too deep into the.
She does something that
Yeah.
interferes with what they
Right.
think will resolve the issue, and it prolongs
not
the issue
just
longer
prolongs
for
the
her
issue.
own benefit.
It,
And all I want
some
to do is just
some
wrap
could
it
say
up
that
and
it
get rid of
exacerbated
all
the
of
issue
okay.
quite heavily.
Yeah. And so like that was my
that
bad.
there's
I
a
got
few less
them confused.
characters because of what she's done.
Am I the
But I
only
did
one that just
like
wanted
that,
to, like, when she was making her teary confession, just wanted to pick her up and just going to go, oh, it's okay, I'm just going to take you over
Yes.
here into a corner for a while, you'll be fine.
But
You
I
are
did
the only
like
one.
Cute little nerd girl.
I did like.
I
did like that there was that one more
would have been
reveal
on
in
the
story
other side of the fence where I would have been like, you're all going to need to stand back and Culpepper or Bell Pot or Bell Pepper, whatever your fucking name is, pick a fucking window because you're fucking leaving. What? Out you go. You want video footage? Go get some fucking video footage. I'm staying in here, thanks.
Yep. Like I said, I give this a lot of shit. But
I
did
like
fucking
this, but
movie.
it's not
I
a
just
good
skipped
movie,
it.
if you know what I mean. I'm on the same boat as you. I enjoyed it. It's just there's some glaring issues that would stop me going, oh man, do you know what you need to see? Well, depending who I'm talking to. Do you know what I mean? Like,
We need,
yeah,
need to do our
depending on
road
who I'm
system.
talking to, because
But
like,
don't see this fucking movie. Carter.
Yeah.
What,
well, like it's
12
hard to
fucking
recommend
times.
it to someone who isn't super into horror. Going, oh, you need to see this, but you're going to have to get over the fact that no one in the movie can act, evidently. And you will notice if you do know actors that there is a French guy doing a fake French accent. But other than that, it's a really good movie. Until the last 5 minutes where it gets CGI as fuck and then it gets a little bit wonky. Although I won't lie to you, the hand wasn't that bad. It was the face. The face lost me.
I will say, GI really kind of fucked.
I thought it was very Ghostbusters.
I won't lie to you.
I was
When
watching it,
they
and
when
this
they
looks like a
vanquish
scene from the first
when they
Ghostbusters movie.
yeah,
The
when they
librarian.
vanquish one of the
Librarian.
ghosts specifically, I was like, that just looks like a big version of when the Ghostbusters catch them in the trap.
Yep.
Like
The
the French guy got his face melted off.
Without the
Anyway, that's okay. That's Gravedancers. Are we going to do? Are we going to do?
Vegeta.
What way did you do it Tuesday? You did trailer, and then we kind of had a discussion about Heart.
trailer.
We
Okay,
did a
we're gonna
trailer
give
and
you the trailer
review.
for
Yeah.
Gravedancers from 2006, and then we're going to be back talking about a whole fucking bunch of curse words in the new fucking Netflix TV series by those cuntin' motherfuckers behind all of the Delalia productions. A History of Swearing. Swear words, that one.
It started maybe 3 weeks ago with noises.
Friend died in a car accident.
And then later we went back.
Sid found a card about dancing.
So we all sort of danced. Found some graves.
Wait, I'm sorry, you danced on graves?
I'm not sure if you're aware, but what you found, my friend, was a spell, a curse.
You're all experiencing different hauntings at varying intensities. The fact is, we don't know what's gonna happen.
So we're gonna be haunted forever. Until you are laid to rest?
You mean until we're killed?
Scary, huh?
Hello.
Hello. We're arguing about the movie that's coming up last at the moment.
Wait for the swear counter to go off the meter.
Fuck yeah.
Sweet rabbit. I wonder what the fuck count is now. We honestly have no fucking clue.
Not a fucking iota.
I'm almost at. Okay, we are at.
I give you so much props for actually tracking this shit, dude.
95 swears so far. Not just fucks, swears. Oops.
Just swears in general.
96. We will break 100 before we probably start the actual history of swear words.
Don't know how bad I swear.
If this fucking thing doesn't move on, I'm definitely going to be passing the counter mark. I'll tell you that straight. Oh, excuse me. Tell you that straight up. Come on, video. Load up. Anyway, Netflix this year, I think it was January 8th is when it came out, if memory serves me correctly. The History of Swear Words hit the streaming site. And fuck me, is it a whole bunch of funskies. It is great. Hosted by Nicolas Cage, where, as we said earlier, his wackadoodle, zany way of delivering lines is completely utilized to a beautiful degree in this.
Oh, he just leans right
one of my favorite moments. And I was very happy and interested when I saw Damn show up on the list, because I was like, that's interesting, because it's so blasé and used now, but like back 40 years ago, Damn was a fucking
damnation.
Yeah, but I liked when he did the bit from Gone with the Wind, where they were trying alternate lines for Gone with the Wind, because evidently they nearly didn't get that scene through because the word damn was in it. I love that.
I will say I did really kind of appreciate, like, I thought this was going to be kind of a jokey,
frankly, my dear, I don't give a darn
kind of weird thing. Right. But the fact that they actually threw like some fucking history in there, like real history, I dug the shit out of it.
I liked how they properly explored the etymology of all the words, as you know, the first time they were used and the first time they were recorded in written language, how the meanings of so many of them changed. I mean, like, and yet stay the same at the same time. You know, if you look at how they're currently used, you know, I mean, fuck once upon a time would be to hit someone, and now you can fuck somebody up by hitting somebody. You know?
Okay,
No,
and like
you know-
I
do you
did,
know-
like I was
do you know
like,
that
holy shit,
the-
I've been like educated on my swear
What I
words
found
now.
interesting was there was it was I can't remember what century it was, but there you had, if you were to be procreating, because you weren't supposed to be having sex outside of marriage, obviously back then, but if you were to be
14th or
procreating, you
15th.
had to have a literal license from the king, essentially saying that, oh, I bless these to go and do whatever. But it was called a fuck license. That's where it partially originated from.
Well, no, that was dispelled as being kind of an urban myth.
Oh, well, it ain't urban in my mind. It's
was it,
just true. Sometimes I hear facts and I'm like, that'll do, pig.
Fornication
That'll
under-
do.
Fornication under consent of the king. That was it.
There we go.
I forgot that was in
Hey,
there.
though, I still got to say, I went from Richard to Dick. I had like
Rick.
professionals and comedians explaining it to me. I'm still like, no, I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Richard, Rick, Dick.
Hey, you can like, I get it. Like that's how like the professionals explained it to me, and I'm like, cool. That's like saying Carter Rabbit Horse. Like I don't fucking get it, dude. It
There's
just
no
didn't-
rhyming scheme whatsoever.
Say that.
I mean, at the very most, you'd get Carter, Cart, Tart.
Yeah. So Richard Dick. Like I.
But one of the interesting things is that they actually do get in experts, not just in the field of etymology, but also
Just
in
talking in
regards
general.
in terms of in terms of how in terms of context of how the words would be used modernly in modern context. You know, in particular, they had this chick, and she was feminist studies, and
Yeah.
you know, some of the examples that she was given, and it was kind of like she definitely was into, like, when they were talking about the explosion of Two Live Crew and the censorship thing, and they were talking about different musical styles and how it was a way of kind of awakening people to social and political circumstances, and
Like
then needing to defend that in front of the courts, to practically defend your right to be able to speak up, and showing how a lot of the censorship was actually just people who just disagreed with your sentiments rather than the language you were using, but they were using your language as a way of, you know, putting down your sentiment and whatever ideas that you wanted to put out.
No, I gotta say, for like, because season 1 is only 6 episodes and they're like 20 minutes each. I fucking put it off. I watched it like today because I'm like, okay, so history
It's
fucking
good, isn't it?
swear words. I fucking dug it. Like I can't believe I put that shit off because I'm like, oh, you know, Nicolas Cage. So like I said, I kind of thought it was going to be more comedy based, but the fact that they actually brought people in to go, look, dude, 1500s, 1303, like they really put work into it, and it showed. But it was still fun. It wasn't like sitting in school.
It's one of the really
for
good
fucking
qualities
hours.
about
It
this,
was
because
fun.
sometimes when you get documentary style things like this, you know, it gets a bit preachy sometimes and stuff, you know what I mean? Whereas this was very, very entertaining, very funny, very lighthearted all the way, but you kind of walk away learning a lot of stuff, you know? Kind of like Tiger King.
Exactly.
Am I the only one that's tempted on putting their hand into a bowl of ice and just swearing for a while and seeing how long it can last?
I so wanted
Mythbusters
it.
did
Like,
it
I'm
for
like,
you if you
well,
want to
was it
save
God?
yourself the hassle.
I'm just curious though. You know, like this was supposed to be like a hardcore kind of like scientific thing. I'm like, is that true?
I like the
I don't
cold, so
know.
I feel I'll just sit there.
Oh, I fucking hate the cold.
I'm of that boat. So I imagine that, you know, time myself without it and then time myself with it. I imagine there'd probably be a difference. Fuck, cold.
You know, but it was cool because they brought in like comedians that just, hey, in my experience, there's this. And then they brought in professionals. Hey, well, we have found in studies, if you curse, it's like a kind of empowerment, like you're able to last through things. I dug the fuck out of it.
Great.
Even when the comedians were on, it was a reflection of how the words have changed in terms of their acceptance in modern culture and how what taboos they're established with and how they can be worked into humor, what jokes work, what jokes don't work, why these jokes work, and why they prey off of
how long they've been
almost
floating
taboos of curse
in
words.
like, do you remember when they were playing the song? I can't remember singer's name, but she was like essentially singing about sucking dick and stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was like from the 20s or 30s, and they were like, when the fuck did this song come out? Yeah.
Jessica Borden.
That's it. Yeah.
Was that her name, Jessica Borden?
Oh, dude, and the burlesque dancers that were like talking about their pussy and then had like
the Six Sisters.
That fucked me because I'm like, oh shit, hold on.
My favorite little line was what was her
Nikki
blonde
Glaser
comedian chick's name? I think you. Yeah, where they were doing the one. I think it was for bitch, and they were talking about like Lizzo saying that she's 100%. She took a DNA test, and she's like, "Well, let's see. I'm 45. That bitch." 25% that hoe, and like 2% Cherokee.
My favorite line out of the whole thing, and it also came from her, was during the pussy episode, and they're like, we hate when guys think we're all about we're just pussy and that we're nothing else but pussy. We are our pussy, our backs, and our cracks. I love that line. I was just like, that is she's very, you should watch her stand up if you ever get a chance, man. She's very funny. Nikki Glaser, that girl's got a poop mouth on her. I'll tell you that straight out. Would you poop mouth, Ron?
Yeah.
Would you poop? Why did you do it, Ron?
But I like how they did it though, because they broke out like each episode had its own word. It wasn't like they tried to they didn't try to fast track through anything. They picked one word, gave it 20 minutes, and because I'm like, oh god, I hope this isn't like. 20 minutes, like that was good. I was entertained, I was educated, and then I got to move on to the next word and start all over.
One of the ones that I know, obviously, I know about censoring and stuff like that, but when they were talking about with fuck and with it, how what can get you from PG-13 to R, and how it's in a PG-13 you can have one fuck. That's it. Once you get the second one, then it goes straight to R.
Kids would have found it interesting that to get the Transformers rating up, they had a dam in it. They're just we'll just get the one dam in there.
I knew. No, they also had a shit in it, which I knew about. I'm trying to rack my head to think of where they said dam, because I know where they say shit.
What sort of how is the shit said? Is it really like?
It's actually really good. It's
animated because live action.
Animated. 1986 animated one.
They mentioned it in the thing, didn't they?
Yeah, basically what happens is Unicron's coming along.
Because I'd love if it was like that.
Unicron's coming along. They've used one of their moons. They've set the self-destruct. The plan is the moon will blow up Unicron. The moon goes off. Spike and Bumblebee are flying away. It's like, yes, we did it. And all of a sudden, the sea is and Spike just goes, oh shit, what are we going to do now?
That's right, because that fucked me up. Because I was trying to show that to my kid. And I'm like, I grew up on this. Dad, did they just say shit?
The robots, honey, it's okay. They're allowed.
Here's the thing.
Shit.
The version that I'd recorded years ago from Sky Movies didn't have it in it. So it wasn't until I got the DVD years later that I went, what the fuck?
See, okay, and I had apparently the DVD because I didn't remember, because I watch it every now and then just for kicks. And I guess it had been long enough where I'm like, hey, check this shit out. Shit. We did not do that on television back in the day.
Katie's working out a new scoring system for the curses in the chat at the moment that, I won't lie to you, looks interesting.
It doesn't.
A rant about a remake swearing X amount of times, bitching about a director swearing X amount of times.
Well, okay, but if you go one more up, should the Gorecast bingo be a thing?
That would be brilliant, because you could be like, well, we were discussing some of Blumhouse's new productions, and it turned out that the easiest rating we could come up with was 14 fucks per 35 seconds. So,
right,
average rating. Love you, Blumhouse.
Or BH.
I feel that the makers of the history of swear words, if they ever caught our show, would probably be a little bit proud by the fact that we here at the Gorecast do our very best to exemplify the proliferation of these swear words in as many multi and varied possible connections as we possibly fucking can in the space of however amount of time.
I can't remember a boy's name.
Time.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, 35 minutes of shit.
Fucking rolling,
that was amazing.
Where we kept going back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have some issues with that.
Do you? Go on.
Yeah. He really wasn't doing that long, was he?
I'd like to believe he did. And judging, I won't lie to you, judging by the sweat in his face, he did look like he was doing it for quite some time. Yeah. This is turning into fucking Dumb and Dumber. Have you heard the most annoying sound in the world?
Like I kind of hope there's a season 2, but I have to admit, like when they got to damn, they were like, is that really
I won't lie to you.
I'm like,
sorry to the Americans in the chat because I'm about to drop.
Actually, it is a curse word. Exactly is what it is.
Oh yeah, damn used to be a serious. Why am I telling you? You're older than me. You should fucking know better than anyone. Damn you.
Damn is the only one that is a curse word. The rest of them are
damn is a
swear
literal
words.
curse word.
They just brought up a very good argument, like that it's because again, what a word was then to now, you know what I mean? Like, and they were kind of saying like now it's like hi. It's just such a frequent word.
Damn.
Like so many of the comedians was like, nah, it's not really a curse word. My kids can't say it. I guess that makes me a hypocrite. Like they brought up a lot of good points to, like fuck. Oh shit. Like that's the big one kind of thing. And I like how they just kind of broke each word down and just let everybody kind of get into it.
Right. Oh, we froze. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
we're froze at the minute. Yeah, we're back. There we go.
So Katie says, don't underestimate my ability to make a Gorecast bingo card. You want one? I'll do one. Laughing my ass off.
Talk to us after the show and we'll figure out how Gorecast bingo would work. I'm not opposed to the idea. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. So no, like I said, I'm kind of hoping
Gorecast bingo Thursday nights. Gorecast bingo Thursday nights. Gorecast bingo Thursday nights. Gorecast bingo Thursday nights. Fuck. That's it. That's going to just be the adverts. It's going to be me on a green screen. We've got numbers and got squares. We've got numbers and got squares. We've got numbers and got squares.
You know how.
What was I going to say before the computer froze?
And you mark them by our squares.
Very good. Very good. What was I going to say before the thing froze? Oh, yeah. I hope there's a season 2 because sorry to the Americans, but I'm about to drop a C-bomb here. But I was a little bit surprised when I heard the history of curse words and I was like, cunt didn't show up. Remember that?
Okay, so here's the thing. Like that occurred to me because we all talk a lot, right? I don't know about Buzz, but here the C word is like that's the golden.
Oh yeah, we dropped that
fucking word.
But like, cunt is actually a good word in Ireland as well. It depends how you use it.
Yeah. Right. And like, okay,
because
when
if you don't like someone,
got to
if you
know
don't like someone,
guys,
you can be like,
you know,
oh, fuck that cunt. Or if you do like someone, you can be like, he's a good
right.
cunt.
What?
You know what I mean?
And it's an American. I'm
lucky cunt.
What the fuck? You're dropping the C. Oh my god! Like that was just like, oh fuck me, dude. I don't know about Buzz, but like you just don't fucking do that here around me and shit. Like you just don't drop the C word. It's the she's acting like or he's acting like the C word. Like you kind of like even drop and whisper it. Like you just don't fucking say it.
The C
it's
word.
Like, you know, and like I said, talking to you guys, like, oh, he's a fucking cunt. Did I hear them? They just, I don't know if they said that. Maybe I misheard them. So it's funny that really rating in the show.
Again. Just give it a second. As is customary, when I say we're froze up, it suddenly comes back. Not coming back yet. This stream. And we're back. Sorry about the freeze there. Computer's evidently still warming up.
I believe we're back.
Yeah, so that I think that's everything on the history of swear words. If you haven't got a chance to see it, go see it because it is hilarious and informative. And if you happen to like American stand-up comedians, they're pretty much all there. Needs used to way.
Nick Offerman is there.
He makes a damn fine burger. I'm going to put that out there right now. Anyway, we're going to hit the trailer for If You Know, You Know. I'm going to hit we're going to hit the trailer for the history of swear words, and we're going to be back. We're going to
Joe.
be talking about a movie that has a girl that is cursed in real life in the movie, and that the set was cursed itself. That is The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Back in a bit.
Swear words. They're the most popular and alluring.
Sorry to interrupt the trailer, but I think you'll find that literally exemplifies what we were saying earlier about Nicolas Cage's whack brand zaniness being perfect for the role. Anyway, back to the trailer. Sorry, I just felt like I should interject with that.
Swear words. They're the most popular and alluring taboos we have. But the secrets to their strange power have been shrouded in mystery until now. Join me on a journey through the history, evolution, and cultural impact of swear words.
Words don't start out as swear words. They're just words. Somebody decided at some point that this is a swear word.
There's an acronymic etymology, fornication under consent of the king.
This household has been given my consent to fuck!
It is total horseshit.
Imagine that you've been called the worst thing you could be called so often that it doesn't mean anything to you anymore.
Taking that negative and inverting it.
What's the intention of the speaker and what's the reception of the hearer?
My dog's a bitch, but I never call her that.
Who you calling a bitch?
I call her a cunt.
There's something innately human about swearing.
More conservative people try and invalidate people they disagree with by pointing to their language.
Parental advisory sticker to me was implicitly racist.
Who's deciding these are bad words? Who did it?
We're gonna do an experiment.
There are scientific studies that say that you feel better when you swear.
You can hold your hand in a bucket of nearly freezing water.
Shit.
About 50% longer if you're swearing than if you're not.
Motherfucker.
Shit. I think there's a need now for swearing and profanity more than any other time.
2 minutes and 20 seconds. The power of cursing, it's important.
The release, that's what really what profanity gives us. Oh, shit.
Bitch. Fuck down, pussy.
I'm Nicolas Cage. Let's get fucked.
And we're back. That was the trailer for the history of swear words. Sorry for interjecting at the start, but I just felt it was quite applicable to jump in and just be kind of literally within the first 40.5 seconds of the fucking trailer. Point proven. Nicolas Cage's whack brand of zaniness working out perfect.
Okay, but you know what? I fully support. What was that? He was trying to change "damn" to Nick.
Trying to change it to Nick.
I totally support that, dude. Out of just Nicolas Cage weirdness, yeah.
And so I should refer to my Brian as a Nick when I'm.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I was going to ask you guys. All right, you kind of I already told you guys. During the episode about dicks, there was the topic of naming your penis. I was wondering if you guys all have names for your penises. I kind of already asked this.
I do, yeah.
So, yeah.
I've had others name it.
Yeah,
at various points for various different reasons.
I know Johnny's because I asked this somewhere else.
Mine's
I forgot.
Brian. Mine's Brian because he's just an average Joe, but he shows up and he gets the job done.
I'm kind of with Gibbs.
I'm like the average. It's
caught a name.
Like the average Joe is a penis.
If I'm with a chick and she decides to give it a pet name, then fair enough, that's her business. But I'm not fucking naming it myself.
Do you have any pet names for it?
Mine is named the Sword of Omens because it's the most powerful weapon on the world. Yes. It gives me sight beyond sight.
Oh shit!
Oh. And sometimes I do scream thunder.
I have this. I was just going to say I had this horrible visual of you masturbating, just been like thunder, thunder, thundercock. Oh my god!
We just let everybody else name it.
Getting chicks to try and look through your dick. No. You're supposed to look at it like this, so that the visual, and then my balls are going to get bigger and curve around and let you see into the future.
Dun, 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 dun. And the whole time,
no.
Oh,
Snarf, fuck off, Snarf.
that theme song playing the whole time.
I'm busy.
Hear the magic, hear the roar, Thundercats are loose. That's how it goes.
Oh, dude, you fucking killed it.
Well, I won't lie to you. I thought Brian was going to be the entertaining name of the group, but nope. Buzz takes it. Sort of Omens for the fucking win.
Right, like you just can't fucking outdo that shit. Like, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get serious if you're naming your tail.
Yeah, but you see, I like to bat safe in the park because I could hook up with a chick and she'd be like, "What's the name of your dick?" And I'm like, "Oh, I call it Thundercock." And she's like, "I used to go out with this guy with a 13-inch dick," and it was just like, "Oh, get back in your pants, Thundercock," or "You're not even Thundercock anymore."
Like,
that's obviously Thundercock.
Sort of.
Hey, here. Wait, like I'm not gonna go like, "Oh, here's your life changer." Not really. Oh.
That's why I call it Thundercock. I know, yeah. But that's why I called it. That's why I called it Brian, because he shows up in time and he gets the job done. Just an average Joe shows up in time, gets the job done. He clocks in at 9 and he clocks out at 5.
Katie said, "Try not to get involved here." I was gonna put the question in the chat. Like, actually, 9 out of I think it's all female, so I don't think they're gonna be able to name their penises.
Oh god, that's gonna
ladies
stick with
in the
me for
chat.
a while now.
What is the strangest penis name you've come across in your lifetime? Let us know.
And is there another sort of omens out there? Let me know, because
I've got to tell it.
Because what, you plan on dueling him?
No,
I have this great visual of Lino getting into a sword fight and saying he's going to pull out the sword of omens, and some chick on the other side of the field just been like, that wasn't what I was expecting. I was a lot more bladed than I thought I was going to be in for.
Great job.
We got the sword of omens looking for Snarf. I mean,
God, Zooks.
Snarf.
Fuck off, Snarf. I'm busy.
Somebody's not prepared for.
God damn it. Staring at me.
Well, I won't lie to you, that Thundercats riff was not the way I thought we were going to start Emily Rose off.
Shit,
But
that's right.
there
We
is
still have a film to review.
Wait, are we gonna give ratings for the history of swear
one
words? or
whole
does it not
star
count?
from John.
Whole star from Carter.
One star from Lino.
Gods. Yeah, that is some quality edutainment, so I'm going to be giving it a star as well.
That's our first 4-star movie, I believe.
I stopped counting.
Since the rating system, not our first 4-star movie, but since the rating system. Right, next up we have
rated.
We have, and if you were over on the Horror Aminos, which you can see you can't see the link above, that's the one for the Gore Amino, but on Horror Amino, there's a Gorecast chat room where we hosted the movie last night, and a few of us were over there watching it, which is the Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is fucking good. Oh, the writing.
It is good.
That is good.
Johnny. Like everybody else, because like you all nodded.
What?
Hey, no, you know how I felt for Gravedancers.
What? Sorry.
Well, no, like was fucking good, and I was like, not really. But then like Giz and Buzz was like, I was like, okay, so like fucking good for everybody but me.
As I said a million times before, one of the reasons I thought it was a good idea to add extra hosts onto the show is that it's nice to have a varied opinion on movies sometimes, opposed to people just flying on camera and going, "It was good," and then that's it, you know.
Oh, I felt like that was a poke. All
That's
right.
a fun poke, though.
That's his description of the plot.
That's
not how
possibly
good
one of
the
my
movie
favorite
is.
moments.
Carter, tell us about the movie. It was good.
It's good.
It was
I
good.
was thinking more a little bit of the backstory, but okay. We don't care his opinions on the movie.
Yep, the plot was good. The movie was good. It's all good,
I'm not going to lie, man. I was in tears laughing watching that the first time round.
In my defense, I was told I had more time, right?
Hey, pee breaks during trailers.
Yeah, no, Buzz just walks off in the middle of a
Not
fucking
enough
show. It
time.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Fuck your trailer. I'm going.
I got pissed. Yeah, if I'm not on camera, I mean, you guys just stare at my green screen for a couple seconds till I come back. That's how professional
Anyway,
I am.
Exorcism of Emily Rose. Does anyone else want to take this one away? Because I took the last two.
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay.
Sure, there's a lot of fucking courtroom bullshit drama, and there's possibly
I think
maybe
he was talking to
that is
he
not
raised his hand.
for possession.
Oh, raise your hand, goddammit. Just
sorry.
raised his hand first.
So
He got
it would appear,
selected.
Carter, your
You
mic
can
was
get
going in and out a bit. It
when
wasn't the sound coming
teacher's
through.
done.
Can you give your mic a wiggle? Give it a little bit of wiggle. It's just kind of going in and out a little bit. Anyway, take it away, Gizzles.
Okay. The Exorcism of Emily Rose centers on the court case surrounding the death of 19-year-old college student
Played by
Emily
Dexter's
Rose.
sister.
Now, played by Dexter's sister, Jennifer Carpenter.
Jennifer Gardner or Carpenter. Wrong.
Carpenter.
Which was the second thing I've ever seen her in. I was kind of surprised because I'd only seen her in Dexter.
I'd actually seen this before seeing Dexter
She's
years
in a
ago.
couple of things.
Oh,
I
okay.
just can't. Wasn't she in like a Black Christmas or something? No. I can't remember. I'll figure it out. You know what?
Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, the case is against Father Richard Moore, who is getting done for negligent homicide, because basically it's been stated that Emily Rose's care was 100%. He was basically 100% given full care of her, and that he neglected her medical and physical needs, and as a result, she died. And he's basically trying to say that it was a possession. Now, this film takes a very interesting approach by giving us essentially a courtroom battle, a courtroom drama, with testimonies from different witnesses and different experts, allowing for flashbacks which are showing the ordeal that Emily goes through over the course of the movie, from her first incident right the way up to eventually going back to the family home, where the proper exorcism does take place, and where the repercussions are, well, basically what we have to deal with in this story. The prosecution, I almost said persecution, is led by Ethan Thomas, who, in my opinion, is a god's damned fucking shark of a lawyer.
A raging asshole.
And I just, fair enough.
True villain of the movie.
He is doing
I think
his job,
Satan is
which
the true
is
villain
to
of the movie. Let's be
prosecute-
fucking honest. Like,
The true villain in the courtroom.
Perhaps, but only because he's trying to do his job, which is, in his opinion, to put away a man that he feels is directly responsible for the death of a 19-year-old girl who should have, in his opinion, been alive and well and receiving medical care. He firmly believes this. I mean, he's going into this fight thinking, I am 100% right and I'm getting this guy done for it. Now, the other side of it is that he is also personally a religious man. This doesn't play into things except that he has knowledge of, what the father is going to be talking about. For the defense, we have Erin Brewer, who is agnostic. She says it herself. She doesn't exactly believe in God. She thinks maybe there's something, she's not sure either way. Her motivations for getting into the case is, this is big fucking profile case. If I take this on, I'm going to become the partner in my firm. And to be fair, she is honest. Yeah, and to be fair, she's honest with Father Moore. She says it straight out.
Because she was even just coming off of a big profile case. Like, this was solidifying, I'm that fucking boss player you want
and
on
in
the
the
firm.
defense, of the other lawyer, she is also a fucking shark in the courtroom.
Oh yeah. Oh
One of the
yeah.
things that I very much enjoyed about this film is there's a scene where, after kind of Erin realizes that she has the case and all the rest of it, there's a scene where she basically does what I would consider some serious fucking mental muscle work by cramming the case in, by clearly examining it, by trying to figure out where her opposition is coming from. This film, for me, really exemplifies the term courtroom battle, because it is a fight of words and wits and wills between the prosecution and the defendant, with Father Moore in the middle of it, determined to tell Emily's story, determined to
the
let
point
the world
that he actually
hear
doesn't give a
these
flying.
words
He doesn't give a
regarding the
flying
exorcism.
fuck if he gets locked up. He just wants her story told because that was literally Emily's last request. Was like she nearly let herself
Let the
continue
world
to
know.
be possessed so she could prove.
Tortured.
Yeah. Now, like I said, this film actually one of the things that worked well for this film was that the director Scott Dickinson worked with Paul Harris Bourbon, and both of them had basically opposite views. One of them's a believer, the other one isn't, and they worked on the script together insofar as how the case would work. So as a result, we had the prosecution starting off very much taking the scientific line. This girl, it's said by doctors that she was epileptic, that she was supposed to be on a drug to control these seizures, that she should have been under a certain amount of care. All of these things are explained, and they're worked into some of the flashbacks that we see to explain the things that has previously been kind of alluded to by other people's testimonies in more rational and sane ways. About halfway through the film, they need to kind of the point was that they were trying to say that he didn't do anything wrong, and that nothing that he did contributed to her death. But to establish that, they need to establish that this is actually a thing. They need to scientifically prove in court that there is such a thing as demonic possession, or to be more accurate, that there is such a thing as
that could be construed as demonic possession. At least we've lost Giz temporarily.
Okay, so
yeah, no.
Me. All right.
Yeah, he's just frozen there.
Side note: what was the girl's name? Jennifer
Gardner.
Carpenter.
Carpenter, yeah.
I forgot. I watched her in the fucking TV show Limitless. I completely forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
You had the Limitless fucking movie, and then you have the TV show. So I completely forgot. Like, I have seen her in a couple things now.
I love his.
Yeah, no,
It's like,
yeah. Anyway,
we
so
got it back. There we go.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Right.
So
was it just me that was frozen, or was it the entire
just
street?
you.
Just you.
It's just you.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You went on for a few, didn't you?
Yeah. Anyway, the courtroom battle, it really takes suit when the team defending the priest decides that we've been coming from this.
This is annoying.
What? What's annoying? He can't hear us.
Yeah, bro. No, he's moving.
Yeah, but
I think my internet's gone.
He's going do.
Fuck.
Can you not hear us,
He
Giz?
is?
No, he can't.
Is?
Okay, he's Skype. I'd say is acting
Yeah.
fucky. Yeah. So anyway, the defense for the priest decides that they've been coming at it kind of from the wrong angle, and that they start needing to prove that exorcism is a real thing. And they bring in a expert in possessions, as in she's studied possession throughout numerous continents and through numerous cultures and things like that, and has actual recorded evidence of what she would construe as a possession, and with success rates of helping people out through the possessions and things like that as well. And this is where the story starts to get quite interesting, because the prosecution...
I'm back. Sorry.
Cool. The prosecution at no point, I think, were expecting possession to actually be seen as a real valid thing, or start to be examined as a real valid thing during the court case. So they're kind of...
see what happens? You start talking about possessed films. I get kicked off the set. You have your set fall down around you.
Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. So anyway, they essentially have to go. They're kind of caught on the back foot a little bit during the battle, and it's one of the most enjoyable parts of the movie for me. As much as the cool bone crunching exorcism stuff when that happens. Those two, I could watch those two battle in court through a whole movie. Like the dialogue exchanges they have during defense and prosecution are absolutely fucking astounding. Really, really well scripted. Really well storylined. I love how you love movie one and don't like this. I like.
I love the fact that you love courtroom drama. I
watch Judge Judy on a regular basis. She's my jam.
Hold
Myself
up,
and my lady.
Then I see why you like this one.
Carter, you need to understand, right? The first time I saw this film, I was like you. I thought I was going to be watching a straight-up horror movie. I do not like courtroom dramas. I honestly don't. So when I started watching this movie and it changed, and all of a sudden I'm seeing how the arguments are coming about, the subject matter fascinated me. The way that they scripted the courtroom battle itself, the back and forth between the prosecution and the defense, it just clicked in the. Maybe it's just because my brain is wired and I like the verbal back and forth. I liked the trying to outthink your opponent.
I also really like that ingenious light bulb moment where she realizes they need to start trying to prove that exorcisms are a real thing, because that the prosecution's lawyer, when it starts getting brought into evidence and the judge allows it, looks so fucking confused. He's like, how in the shit is this even fucking happening?
If ever there was a film that shows how words and ideas can be weaponized and used, every word out of the prosecutor's mouth was like a fucking punch or a knife shot, and the opposite way around. When you could nearly see when they're going in for their killer blow at the end of their argument, and it's the first time and probably the only time where I've ever actually been able to appreciate that, because normally I do not like courtroom dramas. I don't. I really, really don't.
My fiance watched Judge Judy on the regs. I'm a big fan. I'd invite her over for dinner and lunch if I had an option.
I think my problem is like if I know I'm putting on a if I'm gonna I'm gonna throw on some brainless fucking film, I can turn my brain off and watch Gravedancers, Traumaville, whatever. Here I'm like, okay, so here's a possession film that turned more courtroom like fucking Law and Order bullshit than it was kind of fucking possession. Part of it is also I'm not really big on a lot of possession films. I've watched quite a few and I've just never really been sold on them.
See, I think this one does it the best though, because it doesn't hone in on the possession as much.
Yeah, the possession is merely a byproduct of the storyline, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like with like The Exorcist, where it's like the whole last 45 minutes of movie we're just possessed. This is kind of like we only really get the few little glimpse sites here and there, and then we're back to the story.
I don't want to say I don't want to say this is a shit movie, because like you all brought up the arguments in the courtroom. I'm not denying are good arguments. They're well written and shit. It just was like, oh, the Exorcism of Emily Rose, cool. Doom, doom.
It's worth noting.
I'm watching older. What the fuck is this bullshit? It was just it was not what I expected. So I couldn't get my mindset.
I don't know. Was this the first time you saw it, or have you seen it when it kind of first came out?
So I was about partway in when we first hit the courtroom. That I remember. Oh shit! I watched this before. But then I realized I didn't see anything after, so I think I turned it off after the court.
I'm not saying it's necessary, but when you're saying I was expecting more possession or type of a movie, if you know the backstory of the real story that this is based off of,
that's what I was going to get to.
You would have known that the courtroom and all that stuff was there. Going into it, you would have been like, "That's what I was expecting," as opposed to
one of the.
you were expecting.
I didn't realize that we were getting into kind of like a true based story, because I tend to watch on my own free time.
Yeah.
I watch shit background, so I don't necessarily catch every scene. So I may have missed based on the true story.
Because this was based off of Annalise Michelle.
And not just based on a true story, because you see based on a true story the whole time in horror movies. This is fucking based on a true story.
So I remember the end of it was oh hey, father did not do this. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. But it's still I just couldn't get into it, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch a possession
They
film.
still use the character names in that as opposed to the real names when they did that whole this is what happened to so and so.
Character, I'm like you, okay? I didn't actually know the backstory going into this, right? I actually only researched the backstory after. Really, I didn't think I was going to be watching a horror.
Didn't know the backstory going into it either.
Yeah, that's why I said that's what I just said. I'm like him. Now, it is interesting to note that original case, there was 67 exorcism attempts. There was 2 priests involved. Both priests and the family were done for negligent homicide in 1976. This film is based on this film is actually based on the case notes of the defense lawyer, and there are two other films, to the best of my knowledge, that are also adaptations of these events. One of them is called Requiem, and I can't remember. I think there was a film in... No, not that one. Fuck. There was another film that was based on the same thing. But yeah, it's just... Like I said, I didn't know those things going into it. But knowing them now, I can kind of understand completely why this is a courtroom drama, because all of it is based on what actually took place in the courtroom. And I imagine they definitely took liberties with certain bits and pieces, and they dramatized stuff.
No,
because there was...
based on a true story, it means like, oh, hey, here's a story about a guy named Giz and a guy named Buzz, and then they take a lot of liberties to kind of spice up the story.
That's more inspired. Like, that's the thing, is people get inspired and based, they get it kind of...
But here's the thing that I'm getting to. That defense lawyer, she is very much like, I don't... Even at the end of it, her last thing is, I don't know if I believe any of this stuff. But now, after everything that's happened to me during this case, everything I've heard, all the rest of it, I do think it's a possibility. Now, that says something to the actual lawyer that was in defense, because one would imagine she was probably of the same mindset, and she felt strongly enough to then send these things on to people to kind of go, listen, you're going to want to take a look at this case that I did. And so as a result, we end up getting this story. So it does drop into that point of, it opens you up and kind of goes, well, I don't know if these things actually happen exactly the way that it says in this, but it's a possibility that something like this is what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a real, actually, audio tape out there of the actual exorcism that was performed that they most likely, like you said, kind of... I mean, I don't think you really needed to ham it up for the cameras because it's pretty intense, but they probably expanded more because of needing the visual as opposed to just hearing it, because they had to take it into the visual context.
Which is something I found interesting that's addressed in the courtroom when the prosecutor is turning around and kind of going, there are all these things that happen that we don't see that you're telling us about that are supposedly on the recording. And that works into the same thing as well, whereby we get the visual from the effect of movie making. We're able to see all these things. So it gets us into... It helps get us into the mental imagery of the priest's testimony. So you do have to wonder as to what would be those extra bits that he was describing that you wouldn't have been able to hear on this original tape. What did he actually see? What really fucked stuff up for him?
And I will say, like I said, it was more courtroom drama based than I was expecting. But like I said, I'm not shitting on the story because I dig it, because I like any story that has a like on the fence kind of mentality where you can sit there and go, is she fucking batshit crazy? Or is like God, the devil, demons, like where do we meet? So I did like that. It just, again, like I said, I think it was more of a mindset. I was expecting something else. So, in a week, a month, whenever, if I ever go back to watching this, I may have like a different aspect of it and maybe enjoy it. But I was like, oh, the exorcism thereof. I'm like, yeah, Judge, what do you think? What? No, what the fuck? So like, I just kind of,
And I think that this was exactly the opposite of the first movie we talked, where I think everybody knocked out of the park acting-wise.
Everyone is fucking outstanding.
Oh, no.
And the amazing thing is, Jennifer...
That's why, this is...
Yeah, a lot of that body manipulation work, a lot of that body manipulation work, she used to be a gymnast or a dancer, I can't remember which, but like she did that herself, a lot of that body manipulation work. It's not like special effects.
I'll give her props because I did not think she was a good fucking actress in Dexter. She was one of the reasons why I fought to finish that fucking show. I could not fucking stand her. I was hoping Dexter would just like off a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. You're my sister.
No, there's time. There's a season coming back. There's time yet. He could be tying up loose ends.
This is definitely one of my maybe underrated favorites, because it's obviously not a big horror movie or something like that. At least when box office and da da da. But I just like I said, I knew the story going into it. I just thought that the acting was amazing, and I like the fact of the exorcism. I mean, it technically is the center of the movie, but we're not constantly seeing possessed bitch like every 2 seconds.
Possessed bitch,
we're actually, working
Technical
up
term,
to it.
good stuff.
Yeah. We're working up to it, making it as like a payoff, like, oh, sweet, we're finally seeing it. Okay, and then we're gonna take a break from 15, 20 minutes up, and we're seeing it again.
That's what I was.
I like
that's
that
what I was
kind of
saying
back
when we were
and
doing the
forth.
group chat yesterday. Is that it's the kind of the family storyline element that you tend to have in those possession movies, where it gives you kind of the backstory to everything and the backstory of how the possession kind of came to take place and everything like that. They've just removed that element and replaced it with courtroom drama. But like all of the normal bits where you would tend to see the possessed person go fucking possessed, they all showed up. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's more than that. They argue the point of what is. They argue the point literally of what is possession. Is this something that actually exists, or is it just a repercussion of some underlying medical thing?
I was talking about the actual like scripting storyline wise of the
there's-
way the possessions landed in, not the arguments to and forth.
Well, but even the way that it's approached and argued in is what I meant. The subject matter is the way the subject is approached.
And I'm sure part of my problem is I've yet to really enjoy an exorcism film. It's just not my fucking bag. Zombies, slashers, whatever. Exorcism, I've not really enjoyed any, but maybe
The Exorcist.
No, even then, I was kind of okay, it's cool. I think I've truly enjoyed 2 exorcism movies. One was recent, and I can't remember the fucking name of it. And the other one, I think, was the possession
Michael
of
King. That's one of my
Michael King.
That's
oh my
brilliant.
god, that's a fucking
I recommended that.
Motherfucker's if you exist,
I think didn't I recommend that to all of you?
that.
The Autopsy of Jane Doe is fucking astounding.
Was that the other one you're thinking of?
That's not a possession movie though.
Okay, and so the other one I'm thinking of is he's a fake priest, but we do televised it's a live stream kind of thing. It's super fucking new.
Not the one I'm thinking.
Not
of.
20 or, but somebody gets possessed and then comes onto the set, and it's supposed to be me exorcising this chick, but it's something the actress that we were supposed to have doesn't show up, so so-and-so's girlfriend takes possession, and the whole thing goes completely fucking sideways. And those were the two to me best fucking exorcism kind of possession films. I really overall I just don't really get into a lot of the exorcism
I find them to be
movies.
kind of a bit slow sometimes, to be honest, but I thought the pacing in this was quite good. Anyway, I think we're going to hit the trailer because we're hitting that time now. We're going to hit the trailer for the possession of the Exorcism of Emily Rose, and we'll be back with our votes on the movie and say goodbye to everybody. So we'll catch you in a second.
I don't care about my reputation. What I care about is telling Emily Rose's story.
Holy Church venerates thee as her guardian and protector. To thee the Lord has entrusted the souls of the redeemed to be led into heaven. Pray therefore the God of peace to crush Satan beneath our feet, that we may return.
Do you understand how long they can put you away for this?
I want people to hear what only I can tell.
And what is that?
What really happened to Emily and why.
So she believed that her actual possession began that night at the hospital?
I think she did.
Emily had epilepsy. Father Moore's beliefs are based on superstition.
Did Father Moore ask you to give her any medical help?
I couldn't help her.
Why couldn't you help her?
Because there are no injections against the devil.
Emily? Hey. Demons exist whether you believe in them or not. Just be careful, Aaron. There are forces surrounding this trial. Emily, can you hear me?
of God.
And we're back. So that was the possession or the exorcism of Emily Rose.
Exorcism.
Yeah. Everyone, Bar Carter, really enjoyed it. Can I ask a question? Because I just noticed this when I looked in your camera. Is your hat green? Yeah. I've got to give you a bit of advice next time when you're wearing a green hat on a green screen.
Don't.
Yeah, it's like the top of your
That's
head
my point.
just appeared right there. I hadn't noticed it. It's just whatever way I looked, I was like,
oh shit, dude. I didn't even think about the fucking green screen. I just
The whole episode you had your
anyway, before
background
we
on
do
your
our
head.
goodbyes and all of the stuff that's going to be coming up for the rest of the week, votes from everyone. I'm doing a 1. 1 Gorecaster. Okay.
Half.
And Giz.
1.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 1. Also, I found out the 2 other films based on that case. 2006 is Requiem, and 2011 Annalise, The Exorcist tapes.
Okay, so if I remember rightly, just to tot up before we move on, Gravedancers got 3 Gorecasters out of 4. The History of Swear Words got 4 Gorecasters out of 4, and this is 3.5 Gorecasters out of 4. Perfect. C, signore. Right, that's it. That's us done for this week. Thanks for joining us as per usual. Myself and Giz are going to be back Sunday for the usual Old School Sundays Gorecast, where we have a theme, as we tend to do on the Old School Sundays, which this week, as most weeks, ties in with our TV show over on American Horror. So we're going to be reviewing Videodrome. We're going to be reviewing They Live, and we're going to be reviewing... Do you have one you'd like to pick? Doesn't have to be off. Scanners? Okay.
Scanners.
So we're going to be reviewing video. We're going to be reviewing... Oh, it's a bit of a Cronenberg night. We're going to be reviewing Videodrome, Scanners, and They Live as we discuss mind control and other brain-altering ideas at its finest. And before we move on to the trailer and let you know, which you kind of already know what's going to be coming up on American Horrors, but don't forget, if you're new to the chat and you haven't been here before, on YouTube, there's a subscribe and like button. If you could give it a hit, that'd be great. Help us get the views up. That'd be awesome. And help us get the follows up. And there's also a little ding bell on the right that if you happen to want to know every time that us 4 nutjobs decide to come on and swear as much as is humanly possible in a 2-hour podcast, you'll be notified, supposedly, maybe. Depends on
Go
YouTube.
ahead and fucking click it.
Anyway.
It was to the point where I stopped counting because it was coming out of hand. I was like, I'm not being very proactive in the episode because I'm just listening to.
Anyway, that's
swear
us done
words,
for
so.
the podcast. Also, Sunday night, as is customary over in American Horrors, 8:30 p.m. CST, and whatever that equates to is GMTs. Myself and Kids are going to be there going fully in depth into the topic that is mind control at its finest, where we have a fine selection of movies where people get their brains fucked during scripting and sometimes during production, depending on who the director was. As is customary, we got a trailer, and as is customary, saying goodbye from myself, Buzz, Giz, and Carter. We'll catch you all during the weekend. Toodaloo, everybody. Bye-bye.
Component soldering is... Well, what's going on? Doing reps? Almost. I have another quick experiment I want to try with you first. If that's
No. We're done doing experiments, right? Last week we said fucking wrap it up my arse, okay? That's it. No more experimenting on this.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the rocket thing, because that's a multi-purpose tool.
What do you mean multi-buttons?
Rewind. Fast forward. Loop. Right, actually, this gives me a good idea for an episode. Show myself because this Sunday, 8:30 p.m. CST, whatever that equates to is GMTs, only on American Horrors. We're going to be talking about some of the craziest mind-controlled, brainwashing, and scientific brain tomfoolery known to horror.
Don't forget, if you enjoy our Madcap Gorecast horror hijinks, we stream 3 nights a week over on YouTube, Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays, where you can see a little bit of this. Turd spoon, god damn, I knew there was something I wanted to bring up in the... God damn, I don't know what a fucking turd spoon is, but I'm mad to...
Yeah, it's pretty in-depth.
Most definitely some of this.
With a new 2009 twist. She pulls out of her vagina.
I'll give it to her though, because like, you know how like magicians kind of like do something and they pause dramatically? She took that dramatic pause.
And occasionally some of this.
Our favorite Halloween movies.
What's up, Gorecasters? Welcome back here to the Gorecast. Yeah, okay, I'm here. I'm back.